after Republicans learned that the attempted assassination of Donald Trump was done by a registered Republican, they have desperately tried to blame it on anything and anyone.
Was there a conspiracy to kill President Trump?
Absolutely not.
I said that the Democrats would stop at absolutely nothing. They've tried to impeach him. They've tried to take him down. They've tried to break up our family. They've tried to bankrupt us. They've sent every subpoena at us. And I've said on this show before, I wouldn't be surprised if they tried something even worse, alluding to exactly what happened just over a week ago from today. And I was right.
I saw an extremely convincing video online. I know it's all over the place. You know, there were 3 distinct shots early on, followed by another 5 in more staccato, more rapidly fired, and then the final one, which we believe took the shooter out. How do you explain that? I don't know. I'm not an expert.
What did he just say?
I don't know. I'm not an expert.
During the RNC, Republicans used the media to help spread this idea that it was done by this elusive they.
As much as I don't want to be this conspiracy to say its intent, I'm just going to go ahead and say this. First, they wanted to silence and censor him. Then they wanted to indict and imprison him. Now they've tried to kill him.
They have done everything to try and strip him of his wealth and of his fame. They've tried to break up our family. They've done everything possible to try and get him and kill him. And they literally tried to kill him this week.
You know, they tried to take his life. That was the final attack. And
First, they tried to censor and silence President Trump. Then they tried to indict and imprison President Trump. Now they tried to kill President Trump.
First, they tried to ruin his reputation. And then they tried to bankrupt him. And then they tried to put him in prison. And then last weekend, they tried to kill him.
Isn't it funny how Republicans have no problem saying they when talking about Trump's shooter, as if they didn't just spend the last few years crying over using pronouns? Republicans want people to think that the shooting was coordinated by some shadowy agency working in the background. Except it's not a mystery. We know exactly who they are. It was one guy by the name of Thomas Matthew Crooks, a registered Republican with conservative views and conservative friends. Don't worry, there's more.
Records show he is a registered Republican, and neighbors today told us that they've actually seen Trump signs outside of the home over the course of the last few years.
And there's also this.
Thomas Crooks's father, the owner of the rifle that was used to shoot at Donald Trump, was held on a database and profiled by the former president's election campaign and identified by them as a strong Republican supporter, gun owner, and hunter. The information was compiled as part of a secret Republican project to gather data on millions of gun owners across America and use it to target pro-gun messages in the run-up to the 2016 election.
Ooh, that is not a great look for Trump. What it sounds like is Republicans don't want to address the elephant in the room, which is the shooter was a Republican.
We traced the call. It's coming from inside the house. Do you hear me? It's coming from inside the house.
Also, it is insane and appalling how the mainstream media is working to normalize Donald Trump by giving his sycophants free airtime to spread unhinged conspiracies. Call me crazy, but maybe the media should focus more on the guy who tried to overturn the last election, wants to be a dictator on day one, and plans to implement fascist policies with Project 2025. And now that President Biden has officially dropped out of the race, I fully expect the media to focus on the 34-time convicted felon and adjudicated rapist, Donald Trump. He is now the oldest person running and has a clear decline in cognitive function.
If there's a shark about 10 yards away, right where they are, right where all the congressmen are, right over there, look at us. Well, they're sharks. They're sharks. If there's a shark about 10 yards away, do I get electrocuted or do I go with the shark? I said, because I will take electrocution all day long. Despite the environmentalists that say how wonderful sharks are. You ever hear these people? We had 3 killings by a shark this weekend, ripped people apart, and then you have the environmentalists going, well, they didn't mean to do it. They mistook them for a seal. They didn't want to hurt the child. No, I don't want that. Common sense, right? I mean, how about they catch a shark, vicious that they've been after, and they take him to a little deeper water and they put him back in? I wouldn't do that. Would anybody do that here? Let me ask you, this is Michigan. These guys wouldn't do it.
What? I mean, is anyone going to talk about the fact that Donald Trump is still ranting about the fictional serial killer Hannibal Lecter?
It's people from insane asylums, and it drives them crazy. Hannibal Lecter, the late, great Hannibal Lecter, would like to have you for dinner. He wants you for dinner. That's the end of you, by the way.
This is not normal, people. The guy has serious cognitive issues. just like his MAGA followers. No, I'm serious. These people were at the RNC wearing maxi pads, toilet paper, and post-its on their ears in support of Donald Trump. These are the same people who think that they are world-class detectives. Immediately after the shooting, they said that they were 100% sure that the shooter was a guy by the name of Mark Violets, a member of Antifa. Well, guess what? The person in that photo was not the shooter, but instead Italian sports journalist Marco Violi. So not only is he not involved, but he's also in a completely different country. And now Violi is exploring taking legal action against those who defamed him by saying that he was the shooter. Way to go, MAGA, destroying lives one conspiracy at a time. And sadly, Republicans don't care whose lives they ruin in the process. They'll spread misinformation supporting their narrative, and as soon as it's debunked, they'll walk away without issuing a correction. And the person left picking up the pieces is the one that they drag through the mud. And as soon as Republicans ditched that accusation, they jumped to accuse several other people, which honestly felt like deja vu. It reminded me of the Boston bombing witch hunt, which resulted in innocent people getting wrongly accused and harassed. Another random person who was dragged into MAGA's web of conspiracies was FBI Assistant Director Janine DiGiuseppe, and it was all thanks to MAGA conspiracy theorist Dom Luker. He's another one of these citizen journalist types who spread dangerous lies online and then claim that it's breaking news. You know, just like Islamophobe and Trump sycophant Laura Loomer. His tweet says the woman in this video behind Donald Trump, where many viewers accused her of giving the shooter instructions, has allegedly been identified as FBI Assistant Director Janine DiGiuseppe. This is still a developing story. Not only is there zero evidence that the FBI was behind this, but these are also two completely different women. But guess what? This caused some infighting. Seb Gorka came after Luker and others for spreading conspiracies and not being loyal to Trump. MAGA lives in a fantasy world where everything is a conspiracy. They don't believe in facts or science. And speaking of science, I want to thank today's sponsor, Lumen. Lumen is the world's first handheld metabolic coach. It's a device that measures your metabolism through your breath. And on the app, it lets you know if you're burning fat or carbs and gives you tailored guidance to improve your nutrition, workouts, sleep, and even stress management. And all you have to do is breathe into your Lumen first thing in the morning and you'll know what's going on with your metabolism, whether you're burning mostly fats or carbs. Then, Lumen gives you a personalized nutrition plan for that day based on your measurements. You can also breathe into it before and after workouts and meals, so you know exactly what's going on in your body in real time. And Lumen will give you tips to keep you on top of your health game. Your metabolism is your body's engine. It's how your body turns the food you eat into the fuel that keeps you going. Because your metabolism is at the center of everything your body does, optimal metabolic health translates to a bunch of benefits, including easier weight management, improved energy levels, better fitness results, better sleep, etc. I love how Lumen gives you recommendations to improve your metabolic health. It can also track your cycle as well as the onset of menopause and adjust your recommendations to keep your metabolism healthy through hormonal shifts, so you can keep up your energy and stave off cravings. So if you want to take the next step in improving your health, go to lumen.me/Gabe to get 15% off your Lumen. That's lumen.me/Gabe for 15% off your purchase. Thank you, Lumen, for sponsoring this episode. The GOP's message of unity is not working, especially within their own party. I mean, look no further than alleged sex trafficker Matt Gaetz and Kevin McCarthy at the RNC.
Get booed off. So that's the way they
you would get booed off the stage.
That's the biggest challenge we have.
He said you would get booed off the stage. What's your response to him?
Well, he looks very unhinged. I mean, a lot of people have concerns about him. And I'm not sure if he was on something, but I do hope he gets the help that he needs. But more importantly, I hope the young women get the justice they deserve when it comes to him.
I mean, you're referring to the House Ethics Committee investigation that is ongoing.
Yeah, with his partner in jail because they paid underage women for sex and drugs. Yeah, that's what I'm referring to.
So he has denied all of that. I'm wondering, doesn't he deserve the presumption of innocence here?
Well, people are in jail. The women have confirmed it. He came to me. If I still wanted to be speaker, I could have done something illegal and stopped the ethics committee investigation that started 4 years before.
He told you to stop the ethics
committee. Yeah, that's what the whole motion to vacate was about. He wanted me to engage and thought somehow I started this investigation. It started long before I was ever speaker. And as you know, as Congress, I don't get involved in ethics. It's an equal number. They could investigate me. It has to be its own arm and branch. And so he wanted to leverage me to try to do that. And if I didn't, he wanted to do a motion to vacate.
And he's denied that, of course, that he urged you to stop the investigation.
No, I had other members come to me. He came to me. I had other people who were on TV that he talked to. Yeah. Uh-huh. So no, there's no denying it.
While this grade school fighting never gets old, the GOP made sure to blame their #1 rival, President Joe Biden.
I do believe that Joe Biden is responsible for the shooting today. Kyle Clark, an innocent supporter of President Trump, someone who loved President Trump and was there exercising their right to support him, lost their life today. Everyone who has called him a fascist, everyone who has called him a threat to democracy, who said that he should be put in a bullseye, as Joe Biden said, they need to have some very deep reflection tonight before another tragedy like this takes place.
Again, it's kinda hard to blame President Biden when the shooter was a registered Republican with conservative views and conservative friends. But hey, leave it to Lauren Boebert to try to use any opportunity she can to Beetlejuice up her profile. Georgia Representative Mike Collins wasted no time blaming Biden by tweeting, "Joe Biden sent the orders." I love how Republicans claim that Biden is senile, but then they also say that he's sitting in the Oval Office plotting his next move like a Bond villain. Even the victim's wife, Helen, told the press, "I support Trump. That's who I'm voting for, but I don't have ill will towards Biden. He didn't do anything bad to my husband. A 20-year-old despicable kid did. And I just want to remind everyone one more time that the shooter was a registered Republican." Trump's new VP, J.D. Vance, tweeted, "The central premise of the Biden campaign is that President Donald Trump is an authoritarian fascist who must be stopped at all costs. That rhetoric led directly to President Trump's attempted assassination." Fun fact, J.D. Vance is so far up Donald Trump's ass that the eyeliner that he wears is actually Trump shit. And J.D. Vance is not the only one up there. Speaker Mike Johnson has also taken a presidency. I mean, Johnson is so far up there that he's trying to act like he didn't see Donald Trump's violent and aggressive rhetoric.
I call her laughing Kamala. You ever watch her laugh? She's crazy. She's nuts. She's not as crazy as Nancy Pelosi, crazy Nancy. These are Biden indictments. These are a sick, weak, pathetic man who can't run an election, so he indicts his opponent thinking that's going to win. This stupid president that we have, stupid, he's a stupid person.
Has he missed an opportunity to promote unity?
No, he hasn't. Look, there's campaign rhetoric on both sides. There has been. Remember, it was less than a week and a half ago that President Biden said we ought to put Donald Trump in the crosshairs, effectively, put him in the center of the bullseye, he said. Now, he retracted that statement, and President Trump has said some things about unity that President Biden has said, but we are in the midst of a heated campaign, and it's beyond dispute that President Trump has been the most attacked and maligned public figure in the history of the country.
But you yourself said that the discourse should not be personal or targeting people. Have you just changed your mind? Is this now the campaign you want?
No, look, I articulate things in a certain way, and Donald Trump does as well. But his grievances, as you said, are because he has been the subject of so many attacks.
Let's be clear, President Biden did not tell anyone to shoot Donald Trump. It's a ridiculous accusation and more fake outrage from the GOP who's unwilling to accept that the shooter was one of their own. And let's remember, it was Trump supporters who built gallows and chanted, "Hang Mike Pence." Hang Mike Pence! Hang Mike Pence!
Hang Mike Pence! Hang Mike Pence! Rioters chanted, "Hang Mike Pence." The President of the United States, Donald Trump, said that, quote, "Mike deserves it," and that those rioters were not doing anything wrong.
It's kind of the whole reason why Donald Trump had to pick J.D. Vance as his new VP. Republicans can try to point fingers and distract all they want, but the truth is, the GOP refuses to ban AR-15 style weapons, Trump's divisive rhetoric acted as a catalyst to political violence, and the shooter was a registered Republican with conservative views, conservative friends, Trump yard signs, and a father who was identified by Trump's 2016 campaign as a likely gun owner. Well, that's all for me today. Thanks so much for watching, and feel free to follow me at I Am Gabe Sanchez. What Was That is made possible by viewers like you. And if you'd like to support the show and help us grow, you can contribute to my Patreon at patreon.com/IamGabeSanchez. Thank you for your support. So until next episode, I'm Gabe Sanchez, and this has been What Was That?